Oh, I was going to ask you if you were doing that. So you're doing this through a webinar kind of thing.
Yeah. All right. So hello, everybody, and welcome to the Occupational Health and Safety Information Session. It is great to have you all here with us. Let's see. Um, let's get started. I think we've got some people coming in right now. All right. So I'm very excited to see you all here today. Going into our next slide here. So this is our agenda for the information session today. We've got, we're going to do a welcome introductions, going over the Occupational Health and Safety Program, going over the Workplace Health and Safety Certificate, hazardous materials, and we've got an Instructor Spotlight, which will be exciting, and a Q&A at the end of the session. So, my name is Hannah Moore, and I am the program manager for the Occupational Health and Safety program here at UCDavis Continuing and Professional Education. What I do is basically the day-to-day, the logistics, making sure that the program is going along and connecting with you, the students, and your goals for entering into our classes and into our certificate program. I can hand it over to Monica Jackson. She can do her
Oh,
introduction. She's
I
our
thought you
program
were going to
director.
introduce me, Hannah. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Monica Jackson. I am the director of the Occupational Health and Safety Program. Hannah, as she said, handles the day-to-day, but we work closely together to develop new courses and make sure that the program is as streamlined and accessible to all of our students. I'm going to take a back seat in this info session and just be here to answer questions towards the end. If you have questions that are at a broader scale beyond some of the specific questions related to each course, that would be Hannah, your contact. But on the broader scale, I'm here to answer questions about CPE, continuing professional education, or just the overall future of the program. So I'll turn it back over to Hannah.
Thank you, Monica. And then introducing our instructor, Brett Gwaltney. Brett is our instructor for our Incident Investigation Techniques course, which will be taking place in January 2021. So coming up real soon. It's kind of weird to think that we're already at the end of 2020 and thinking forward to 2021 at this time, but Brett will be teaching one of the first classes for 2021 in the Occupational Health and Safety program. So he came to us. He's now retired, but he had worked for the Sacramento Municipal Utility District, or SMUD, for over 30 years of experience with radiation and industrial safety. And he's held various positions, including being a team leader, a technical advisor, and a trainer for many investigations involving employees, third parties, fatalities, and major property losses. And so we have been so lucky to have him be a part of our teaching staff, and he's going to be answering some questions later on in this session, and it's going to be, I've heard him speak, I've heard some of his stories, and it's definitely interesting and it's fun, so please stick around for that.
Thank you, Hannah.
So we're going to start off with our first poll, kind of something a little bit fun before we get into more of the meat. So I guess we're going to start with dessert with this poll, but it should be coming up on your screens now. But what do you believe is the best flavor of pie? We've got apple, pumpkin, cherry, pecan, or if you don't want any pie, you can have cake.
Hannah, I'm disappointed that I couldn't vote.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize
can't
that you
vote.
could.
I'm just going to say that I am choosing apple pie.
All right, Brett, do you have a
Well,
preference?
I really like pumpkin, and in fact, I made some content the other day. I took some sweet potato and I put it in my pressure cooker so I could just get to it whenever I wanted to.
Oh, there you go.
All right, well,
See,
it
we got
looks like
a pie hack from Brett.
well, it looks like we've got, I guess, including Brett, we've got two folks that are into pumpkin pie.
Well done.
Cherry seems to be the winner, though. Cherry pie.
Hard to beat.
And I guess Monica is on her own with the apple. I personally, well, maybe I'll go with apple with Monica.
You guys would do well. You'd have two of you splitting it. That'd be a pretty good operation.
Yeah, I think that works. Well, thank you for responding to that and our fun little poll there. Now going into poll 2. Let's see, got this. So have you taken a course with UCDavis continuing professional education? Maybe not necessarily with occupational health and safety, but maybe in one of our other programs. And I guess formerly we were known as UCDavis Extension. It's been a number of years now, but you know, if you may have taken a course when we were previously named as such. I'll give it a couple more seconds. All right, so it looks like a majority folks have not taken a course with us before, but we do have someone here that has. So maybe some of this information may be things that you've heard before, but hopefully you'll learn something new while we go through this. All right, so just a little bit about UCDavis continuing and professional education. Our mission is as the lifelong learning arm of UCDavis that we provide learning opportunities that transform people, organizations, and communities. So our focus has been on generally the working person, the professional person, and assisting them in their career goals and their learning goals. So that's kind of what continuing professional education, as the name implies, has been focused on. And we've, in that work, we've had nearly 62,000 annual enrollments with more than 3,000 courses, not just in occupational health and safety, but we have courses in, that's a lot of courses if that's what we had. But we also have courses that range from land use planning, natural resources, business topics such as accounting and program management and such. Yes, Monica?
No, I was saying, I was just saying paralegal, but I will have to say, I'm just going to jump in and say, as the program director, I mean, you could say we've had 62,000 enrollments in our program. But no, we haven't. But that would be great. That is our goal. That is our goal, everybody. Help us reach our goal.
Yes. So we serve students that are in the greater Sacramento region, but also in all 50 states and in more than 100 countries. And especially now that we have kind of gone into this remote learning space, online space, it is assisting us in being able to reach people further. Not just in the Northern California, Sacramento region. And so that's been an exciting development for us. And we look forward to being able to grow upon that as the quarters go on. But our history is 50 plus years of developing training programs in the field of environmental education. So let's look forward to another 50 plus. Keep going. So as I mentioned before, we've got courses in different areas, which in business, health sciences, land use, human services, winemaking, brewing. So we kind of, as continuing professional education, we do run the gamut in different courses to help those advance their careers. And we've got courses. Currently, we're not holding any in-person courses due to obvious health reasons, but generally we have courses in Sacramento at our Sacramento campus and online. Currently, we are focused mostly on our online coursework and expanding that. We've got certificate programs, including the Workplace Health and Safety Manager certificate program, and also individual classes that folks can take to, shore up their knowledge or to be refreshed in, trainings and such. And we do content that's tailored to adult learners. That is our focus, while the main UCDavis campus does focus more on the, their undergraduates and graduate students. We are looking and helping those that are in the field. And we do also offer customized trainings for organizations. So that would be contract work that can be done with our specific coursework and programs. So we've got, we already know what pie you like, but I want to learn a little bit more about, why you're interested in our program here. So we've got the options of, are you a current workplace safety manager? Do you want to become a safety manager? Have you been asked to become the safety manager? You're seeking a promotional opportunity, or is there a different reason that you're interested in our courses and our program? A couple more seconds here. Make sure everybody gets a chance to answer. Okay. So it looks like overwhelmingly people are interested in becoming a safety manager. So that's great to hear. We have that option of asked to become a safety manager because we have heard from some of our students in the past that they'll be like, somebody needs to be the manager. So do you want to do it? So I'm glad to see that people are interested and they want to become that, because that's always a good place to start with that.
Hey, Hannah.
Yeah.
Are you the safety manager for our team when we're in the office?
I am the safety manager for the team when they're in office.
And how did that happen?
I did volunteer for the position.
Yeah.
So
we understand that sometimes you don't always just volunteer and it falls into your lap, but it's such an interesting, I think Hannah and I can attest that we've learned so much from just being part of this program. So
yeah. So I think that you all will also learn a lot. All right. And so, with our programs, there are opportunities to, be able to financing your education, which there are loans and training fund opportunities, including the Workforce Investment Act, the Veterans Education Benefits, student loans, education awards. I am not the best person to ask about that option. What I would direct you to, and we have the website there at the bottom, but there is a link on our website which you can search for, is financing your education, to find out what the options are. And then we do have somebody that is dedicated on our student services team that would be able to assist you with what your options are and how to make sure that those funds could be applied to the coursework. So. And there are various course discounts available when you sign up. If you are a graduate of UCDavis, we have the Cal Aggie Alumni Association, professional partners, which would be different associations. And then there's also a group enrollment discount, which is for 3 or more people. And just to note, with the group enrollment discount, you have to all sign up at the same time together in order to qualify for that. So it can't be, if you're coming from the same workplace, that each of you are setting up separately. It all has to be done at the same time in order to qualify for that. So just as a note, if that's an option for your workplace that you're looking into. And as a thank you for attending the information session today, once the information session has been completed, you will receive an email. In that email, there will be a coupon code for $100 off of a course. And the coupon, if you have not used it previously, is only good for 1 use per student. So if this is, the second information session you've attended and you've already received this code, unfortunately and used it, you won't be able to use it again. So just a note on that, but that will be coming in your email and you'll be able to hopefully use it towards one of our classes. And so it's an overview of our occupational health and safety program. We obviously health and safety, and then we've got emergency courses in emergency management, courses that cover environmental management and hazardous materials courses. Right now, our hazardous material courses are focused mostly on HAZWOPER and those refreshers and such, but we do have other ones that are, we will be offering hopefully in the future as we are able to get back into the classroom. Unfortunately, those are one of those classes where classroom, being in the classroom is much more helpful. The situation, and even though we've tried to work around some of those things, it's been difficult to offer them online. So we'll be shoring that program up as we get back in, and hopefully that'll be within the next year or so, and we'll be able to see you in person again. So within the hazardous materials program, we've got courses on air quality, CEQA, the California Environmental Quality Act, chemicals of product stewardship, environmental auditing, green chemistry, as I said, the HAZWOPER, the hazardous waste refresher 8-hour is one that we've been offering online, but some of the longer ones we haven't done so due to the whole fact of wanting to be in the classroom to do those. So, talk about our certificate. I know I've mentioned it a couple of times so far, but the Workplace Health and Safety Manager Certificate Program. It is a fully accredited and academically approved program, and it's been approved by the UCDavis campus departments and faculty. And so the academic credits are equivalent to graduate units. Whether those units are accepted by other institutions, it is up to that institution, but they are accredited and approved by UCDavis. The program consists of 9 required courses for a total of 15.75 units, and it's about $5,700 to complete the program if you are paying to full cost for all of the courses. And there is a $125 application fee for the certificate program, which is non-refundable, which we do recommend if you are interested in the program to take a course or two first to make sure that it is something that you are interested in before you pay that fee, as it is non-refundable. And we offer those courses every other quarter, so it is possible to complete it in as few as 24 months. And this is the list of the courses that we have in the program: the Health and Safety for Workers, Laws and Regulations, Health and Safety Management and Program Development, Introduction to Industrial Hygiene Sampling and Monitoring Instruments, Industrial Safety Hazard Control, Ergonomics in the Workplace, Fire and Life Safety Awareness, Emergency Preparation and Management, and the course that Brett teaches in Incident Investigation Techniques. And so, as I said, we offer these every other quarter. Currently, everything is online, but what we are hoping to do once we are back in the classroom is to offer it online once a year and in the classroom once a year, so that we are able to give students the option in their learning format. So, but right now, everything is online remote learning. So another option we have with our certificate program is what we call our accelerated certificate path, which we would, if you were interested, you'd have to complete the certificate in 3 years. And if you were able to do that, you would receive your final course for free. And as I mentioned, that $125 certificate application fee would be waived. So it's a really good option. And, as we said, it could be completed in few as 24 months, which is less than 3 years. So very easily doable to be a part of this accelerated path. So if that is something that you are interested in, please reach out to me. I will have my contact information available at the end of this session. And let me know if you're interested, and we can talk about the details, and I'll work with you on setting up a schedule and such.
I just wanted to take this moment to kind of explain something. I know it can be a little confusing if a few slides ago we say two years, and then we're offering you an incentive to do a 3-year thing. The list of classes that Hannah mentioned that are in our certificate program, it's just important to note that they average 3 to 5 days long, and we know that we recognize that everybody can't take that time out of the office for that long. And so while it's doable, if you have complete flexibility with your work to complete the program in 2 years, on average, the majority of the people are completing it in the 4 to 5 year range, which is why we included the incentive to complete it in 3 years. It's kind of like a meeting in the middle. So we recognize that, you can't be out of the office 10 days out of the month to take these courses. But if we give you that extra year, there may be some incentive on the side of yourself or your employer to, if we're going to pay that last course, pay the fee for that last course, and take care of your certificate fee. All certificates within CPU usually have a 5-year, that's the max that you can take to complete a course, a certificate. But if we can find a way to help you get through the training faster, that's what we want to do. So that's why we have both we encourage a 24-month program, recognizing that that's only optimum in a very few cases. So we want to include the 3-year option. And like Hannah said, she can help you facilitate that.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Monica. That is a very good information. And yeah, it, I guess perfect world. Yes, you'd be able to do it in 24 in 2 years. So with that information, I am going to start with our session with Brett. I've got some questions to ask him. Hopefully he won't be surprised by any of them.
Make them easy.
And we can learn a little bit more about him. So Brett, thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to speak with us and to speak with our students. So I guess just to get started, please tell us about an incident investigation and what it is and how it fits into health and safety.
Well, I consider incident investigation one of the primary skills of people that are in some kind of EHS profession, because it is the techniques that you use to learn from your mistakes. And every company will make mistakes. If you're a company long enough and you have enough people doing some things, generally something's going to go wrong. And when it goes wrong, we have an opportunity to either continue to fail or continue to succeed. And so incident investigation is all about how to get some orange juice, or some lemon juice out of the lemons that happens in your workplace. And of course, the more hazardous the career paths are that people work in, this can be from something that's really innocuous to a fatality. And so it's a critical skill. I can tell you, when I started into this profession, there really was not a lot of places you could go to get an education in this field. Now it's much better, but at the time I learned a great deal by trial and error. And so part of what I try and bring to the course is, hey, you don't need to make the same dumb mistakes I made. We can help you out so that it's not quite so painful.
That's good. I think, that's definitely what we find to be a plus of our programs, not just your course, but our other courses is, having that real life experience that, you're bringing there and telling the students about, like telling those stories and relating it, to the real world is what we find really
Yes,
valuable. And we definitely appreciate you sharing that with our students in your
that
class.
is a huge thing in I think with the health and safety effort at UCDavis is every one of the instructors is not just an academician that's
Mhm.
you know going to help you out here, but these are all people that have been in the trenches. They have had to weather the storms just like you are, and you know, so we come at you with, I should say, a lot of compassion because we know how sometimes work is difficult, and sometimes you're put in positions that are very difficult. I would say with incident investigation, for me, I got in one of my first incidents to investigate was a tree trimmer that was killed on the job, and it was like shock therapy to me. Is like this was in the very let's see, this is the very early '90s, and I had not very much experience. Um, I had never taken a course on incident investigation in my life, and so if you ever got stuck in a position like that where somebody's asking you to do something that you don't feel like you're very skilled in, I totally get it. And that would be one of the objectives of the course is to get you comfortable doing some things before you are put in the crisis mode.
That's, well, I'm glad that we've got you there to help them out. So going on, so I guess, are there any trends or upcoming issues that you see in, I guess, your industry? And, what do you think are some of the reasons for these changes that are happening?
Well, one thing I see with the whole environmental health and safety movement right now is um, the people that are running the business, the executive staff, and the management team, they're looking for ways that they can improve their business to become more efficient, more effective, to please their customers. And and health and safety people fit into that in a big way, especially with this topic, because this allows you to use tools to help improve your business, make your business better. And and a lot of times, incident investigations are done reactively. They're done after some bad thing happens. But more and more people are starting to understand that the tools that you use for incident investigations can be used upstream as improvement tools. So, most of us who've been at this for quite a while are pretty good at continuous improvement and the whole continuous improvement ideas, how those things are done, and this tool set that we introduce you to in this course, the one I teach, is definitely very useful for that. Um, it's a hard way to improve your business to have a loss every time you want to make an improvement, and so if you can get in front of this, it's far more productive. And because of that, we call these health and safety managers. I've seen people that have very substantial positions in large companies that are in charge of these functions because these functions involve usually a lot of money and a lot of human impact. There's a human cost to all this that's huge.
Hmm.
And so if you're really good at this kind of thing and you decide that this is something you really want to take on in your as a career or as part of your career, a lot of people understand its value.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. And I guess this kind of goes in the same line, but you've recently retired. So how many years did you work in the industry, and kind of what kind of changes have you seen over that time?
Well, first, I want to encourage all the people that are online with us today to know that, I consider myself to have had a very non-linear path. Uh, you know how, when you're young, you go to college, you know what you're going to do and all that, and I got started that way just like so many people. But I've actually had several careers in my 40 years of working. And so, I started out as a paramedic, and then I went to nursing school, and then I decided I'd like to I'd like to go into something a little bit different than direct patient care. So I went into physics, thinking I was going to work in medical physics. And then I ended up getting picked up by a utility because that utility owned a nuclear plant. And and then lo and behold, like so many people do go through these days, we had a plant closure, and there was, hundreds of people were laid off at the same time. And I thought I was going to be one of those eventually. I wasn't immediately, but I was looking for a new career thing, and my opportunities to be in nuclear power involved a large move. And we were just having a family at that point, starting to have babies and all that. We were close to my folks and the outlaws, and we decided, hey, can we make this change? And I got an opportunity to go into health and safety as a young person. I was around 30, I guess, and that ended up being a great career for me. I stayed in the field for, I guess, 25 some years, and saw a lot of changes in the field because health and safety is just one aspect of the business. And we all know how business is changing tremendously, evolving. All you got to do is look at the last year to see how disruptive things can be in businesses. And so this health and safety function, it's intricately involved in most businesses, especially anyone that has physical forces. And as I said before, it involves generally quite a bit of money, and it's definitely involves a lot of human cost. And so as businesses change, so are we changing. And health and safety has made tremendous changes in the last 2 or 3 decades. It's just like all businesses and all other aspects of those businesses.
Yeah, thank you. And I guess this last question, not so much about your work experience, but can you tell us about your experience teaching online this past summer?
Well,
First time?
as I was telling Monica earlier on, thank God for Hannah up here. So she's a very modest citizen, but uh, uh, I would say this: uh, we we put a lot of work into making this work. You'll see how some of the tools are. So even though I've been had the privilege of teaching with UCDavis, and I was an undergrad at UCDavis. So I've been around the block with UCDavis, and I've literally taught multiple mini courses over the years, and I kind of like incident investigation, so I've stayed there the last few. But the online experience, I think we did pretty good. We did this. It was a lot of work, but we retooled it. And I think actually now that I've done it at least once, I actually appreciate that it forced our hand because it caused me to do some things that I probably wouldn't have done. And I kind of rethought how to deliver the information. So one thing that I would say now is there's flexibilities in the course that were never there before. I mean, you were basically, if you weren't able to show up to the 2 days back to back, you couldn't take the class because it was, it was very, just like a lot of classes, it's very regimented and you gotta, do your thing. But with online, what I discovered, Hannah probably knew it already, but what I discovered is we were able to build in some flexibilities for you as students so that you weren't up against the wall and in such a regimented situation. So we have, I can't recall, Hannah, but we only had a few hours of the whole course that were actually done through Zoom.
Yeah, we have with our remote online classes, we've got our what we call our live sessions,
Yes.
which are for your class in particular, because it's normally a 2 days in-person class. We
Yeah.
have 2 live sessions for it, which I think yours were two and a half hours long.
Yeah, something like that, 2 or 3 hours each. And we spaced them out so that, We tried to work it out so that it was convenient for you. Try not to have it right in the middle of your business day, but probably before you would get home from work. So, we tried to be flexible with that, but we were able to work it out so that the learning objectives were accomplished. And yet you have so much more flexibility on the way that you execute on this. We have discussions, but the discussions are handled online. You get to be more, instead of trying to come up with an answer on a discussion in 1 minute, like we might have in a room, in a classroom, you actually are able to think about it a little bit and then put your answer down and see what other people think about it. And in a classroom situation, you often are not able to get everyone to participate. Some people are less participative than others, but sometimes they have the very best thoughts. And so you're able to see some really quality input from your peers, not just me. Um, I like to give you quality input, but quite frankly, as an instructor, what you like to see is you like to see people in the class pick up the ball and run with it, think about it, and then whatever they're missing or they could use a refinement on, that's where we come in. But that way, you're able to actually work with these things, you know, in a safe environment where the worst case scenario is you make a small mistake on a play problem. It's not something real.
Mm.
So I personally think, even though it was a pain to adjust the course, uh, it was a pain. And we were able to do it. And I'll tell you, and I was on vacation when we did our first course because we had no idea the COVID thing was going to happen, nor did I know I was going to be on vacation. And even though I was on vacation, because you could dial in from anywhere in the world, I was actually down by South America when we taught the course in in this last session. So that was pretty nice. As a retiree, you kind of like not being locked into your house. So and the reason I bring that up is that has that same flexibility for you, which we would have never done before. If you happen to be a person in Southern California, you had to fly up here, and we had a number of people over the years. I can't tell you the number of people that have been here from out of state or down south, and that level of flexibility now is darn interesting. And we wouldn't have put the effort into making this available had we not been COVID pushed. So like a lot of things, there's a silver lining in this darn virus.
No, that's definitely true. I think, and Monica can attest to that. That we had the vague plans of eventually going online, but this definitely gave us the push, and had us adapt quickly.
Yes.
Yeah, I will say that because most of the courses were running back to back, or we have a few courses that literally run 5 days in a row. And we were struggling trying to come up with a format in which we could make that work and how to convert it. And I am the first person to raise my hand to say I wasn't sure we could do it. I manage a couple of other programs, and I felt that it might have been a little easier for those. But this one, I was really concerned, and because some of the courses have that hands-on aspect, which we have been able to, for the most part, replicate in person, and like Brett said, maybe even enhance things that were in person before, and in this new format, it gives you that opportunity as an instructor, and then for you as a student to benefit from the thinking out of the box that maybe wasn't there before. And so even though, and these courses, as Hannah said, are all academic courses, but I also want to assure you that nothing is lost in that. We work with an instructional designer. We make sure that all of the courses meet their academic, they're just as stringent in online as they are in in person as they are online and vice versa. So no matter which format you're working in or you're taking courses in, you're receiving the same content. It's just delivered in a different modality. And I will say with the 2 sessions that we had live sessions for each day, there was additional content. We have recorded content that Brent had recorded. So it's just not a course that goes from 16 hours down to 5 hours with a live session. There's recorded content that covers all of the other curriculum. But then Brett had these live sessions for case studies or student activities. One of the important parts of our programs are the networking part, like Brett said, having that opportunity to hear from your peers. And so that's what we try to enhance in the live sessions. But we do have additional content. I just want to make sure everybody realizes that. And the format that we use tries to be mindful of the fact that we are competing with your time. If you're working from home, we know that you are working with school-age children, or you have somebody else sitting there working from home next to you, and there are other people in the household. And so that's why the courses, if something like Brett's class was a back-to-back, Hannah, how many days are we running the class if it's in a remote learning environment?
So normally if it's a 2-day course, like Brett says in the classroom, we actually have our online classroom open for 4 days total. So that allows the flexibility for you as the student to be able to, as Monica was saying, if you need to watch it at 8 p.m. or 3 a.m. or whatever, it gives you that flexibility to go in, watch the videos, go into the discussions, take any of the quizzes or anything that might, the different things that the instructor may be using in their course. And it gives you that opportunity to be able to do that. Instead of trying to mash it all into 2 days, you get 4 full days.
Right, but we will say that the live sessions are mandatory, and we do take attendance in there just like we would do in the classroom because of the academic requirements that we have to meet and that we want you to meet as students in the program.
All right, well, thank you.
What's really interesting to me too is on those live sessions, that we tried to make sure that when we got you together in a live session, it actually was worthwhile to be live.
Mm-hmm.
So it isn't just somebody showing you a slideshow. That was kind of the retooling for me. It's kind of like, if the slide deck is well done, they don't need to be in a classroom to see the slide deck. And so when we do get you together for a couple of hours, it's because there is some kind of interactive thing that requires small groups for you to get the full benefit. And I think we were able to achieve that goal. And so instead of having to be, let's say driving for an hour each way, and then sitting in a classroom for 8 hours, let's say 2 days in a row, what we've done is we've stretched that out over several days, so you have flexibility, and then a couple hours for 2 days is mandatory attendance, and we let you know in plenty of time when those days will be so you can carve it out. So I think even though it was painful to set it up, we actually had a gain, and and I'm grateful we were able to get a gain out of it.
Well, now that you've done it once, you know how it works. So for your class in January, it should not be so painful.
Yes, no, exactly. And it's just like any new thing that you do. And, and all of us were learning at the same time. So
Well, and I would like to say that Brett took all the pain so our students wouldn't have to. Thank you, Brett.
Yeah, and I was glad to do it. I was glad to do it.
Well, thank you so much, Brett, for answering our questions and giving us some stories. And I think really the information right now that you've given about the online class was incredibly helpful, because I know for some students, as it's a new experience, it can be a little bit confusing initially when they hear about our online remote classes and how it actually works. And so I think you're talking about your experience is really valuable there.
I did get some really good feedback from the students at the last class, just to let people know that are online today that, you know, people I think actually enjoyed the format. Um, I was a bit fearful of that when we first got into this, thinking, God, I hope people aren't discouraged by this. But in the end, I think most people really enjoyed it, and I know I did as an instructor. It was fun. You know, we were all learning something new, so you certainly weren't bored, and there was no really opportunity to be bored. So a traditional class, you know, you have some ebb and flow in the class. I just didn't feel that this time. It just had a lot different energy to it. I think when we all did get together, it's not like we spent 2 days together. We spent a couple hours together. It was awesome. So in a lot of ways, I am grateful that we got forced into this because I think I think we have the opportunity to create better content and make the experience more worthwhile for a typical student than we did before.
Mhm.
It's kind of like, you know, when you were in college and college professors do it the same way all the time, you kind of get lazy and you just go with what you've been doing. What this has forced all of us to do, including you as students, is to you got to bring your A game in because it's a different format. It's a different way of thinking, different way of processing information, and there are a lot of positives to it. So please don't be discouraged or think that this is not going to be valuable or that you're not going to do well with it. I think you'll find from what in the last class I had, most people really enjoyed it and they enjoyed the flexibility.
Thank you. All right, so I'm going to open up the floor for questions. You can use the question and answer feature to type any questions or into the chat feature. If you've got any questions, it can be about a course, the program, the certificate, something specifically for Brett. Anything that you guys are have any questions about. And also, if you do come up with a question or something after the session is over, I'll be sharing contact information, so you'll be able to reach out to me directly for anything that may come up later. So give you just a moment here if you guys have anything you'd like to ask.
No questions?
No questions, guys? Oh,
There you
all right.
go.
There. So is it possible to complete the course earlier than 24 months? Yeah, technically it is. As I said, we do offer each of the courses twice a year. So you could conceivably get it done within 12 months. I guess if you were very highly motivated, it could be 6 months. So I guess either motivation or time. I guess that combination, you could do 6 months, but that's probably pretty intense amount of coursework. But yeah, 12 months could be done.
And
We
I
used
would,
to have we used to have a situation where some people who had maybe lost their job and were trying to look into a new career opportunity where their time was not sucked up by work. That could be really interesting, and
mhm.
we've had that happen to a number of people. Just like all of us have had situations where you've lost a job or you're having to retool your employment. I think this COVID thing actually has been really interesting for people on getting training done because they've for whatever reason they're shut in or they can't do the kind of work that they normally would have done, and they're thinking about, man, maybe I need to do a career switch or whatever. So those of you who have time available, it isn't that it's too hard to get it done in less than a year. For most people, it's just, do you have the time?
It's
Can
time.
you
I would
pull
agree.
can you pull away from work, that much time?
Mm-hmm.
And for most of us, the answer is no. But if you happen to be in that betwixt stage where you're between careers, boy, that it could be a super useful way to use that time.
And I would also add that the beauty of our program, one, with having practitioners who work in the field and having people who are, this is such a niche kind of a program, and people that are interested in getting into the program. So it's not super generic in that respect, that it's a great way to network. And sometimes, we always do the round robin of introducing yourself and things like that. I've been at some in-person classes where somebody says, we have an opening. So if anybody's interested, and then during the break, you see those two people huddling together,
Yes.
Or you find out where somebody else works during the opening when you're introducing yourselves, and you're interested about that organization, and you can talk to someone. So the networking aspect is just it's an unwritten benefit of our program, and that has not been lost in this format. So that's an interesting thing. So just keep that in the back of your mind.
It is awesome, the tremendous variety of businesses that send people to these classes and for participation. I'll tell you, it's been awesome to me. Just sometimes you kind of get corralled into your own kind of enterprise, and it is a great way to meet other people. And as Monica said, sometimes there's just an employment opportunity, and a lot of it's being prepared and then watching for the opportunities. And so that's how this goes.
So we've got another question. What time are the in-person classes usually in session? So I guess funny enough, I came back and started working on the program during COVID, so I actually haven't had the experience. So I think, Monica, can you?
Yes, I can step in. So again, because these are academic courses and we have to meet a specific amount of actual training hours. When the courses are in person, they can start anywhere between 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock, depending on how many credits there are, and how many credits we have to fulfill, how many training hours we have to fulfill, and how long the course is. If it's a week-long course, some courses are 40 hours, and every academic credit is worth 10 hours of instruction. And so most courses will start between 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. It's just important to, when you enroll in a class, specifically if it's in person, to make sure you check your confirmation, because it will tell you exactly what the start times are. And so each course does have a different start time. Conversely, online, it's also important to check your confirmation, because each live session could be at a different time. So just keep those in the back of your mind, that information in the back of your mind.
All right. Are there any other questions before I move on to our last poll of the session?
We have one more question.
What is, I guess I'm not entirely clear what a POC contact is.
Point of contact?
Contact.
Point of,
Contact.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I think the double contact got me confused. Okay, all right, yeah. So I will actually be the person that will be the contact for the program. And so I'll have my information available at the end of the session. So that slide will be coming up shortly. So we've got my last poll. Now that you have gone through the majority of the session. So what is your next step now that you've enjoyed our session here? Are you ready to enroll? Do you need some time to think about it? Do you have some more questions, or are you not sure that this will actually meet your needs?
Again, we can't answer these questions. My next step is, I understand that we schedule these during the lunch hour, so we always appreciate people showing up. I'm going to eat a little lunch. That's going to be my next step.
All right. So give a couple more seconds here. All right. So it looks like for those that have answered, that you are ready to enroll. So that is exciting, and I'm glad to hear it. So um, I will be looking out for you. And as I said, you can always contact me. So here is the contact information. So you can, or I guess just some information. There's our website, which hopefully you've had a chance to go to, but there's a direct link to our program page. We do also have a Facebook page where we're posting about our classes, upcoming conferences, interesting articles within occupational health and safety. So if you're on Facebook and you haven't liked us yet, I would highly encourage it. And you can always reach out to us at ohsinfo@ucdavis.edu. Generally, you will be reaching me, but you may also be able to get in contact with Monica that way. But as stated earlier, I am the main program contact, and so I will be here to help you answer your questions. And
I
you can
also
also
wanted,
schedule a one-on-one, Zoom meeting with me using my Calendly link, which let me actually see if I can. Oops, I did not mean to do that. I was trying to grab that link so that I could share that a little bit more easily. Let me see if I can get that into the chat for everyone so that you can click it directly should you want to just set up a meeting. But this will, if you're not familiar with Calendly, what this does is it basically shows you available times on my calendar that you can select to set up a one-on-one meeting with me, and it'll actually go ahead and set up the whole Zoom meeting and everything, and you'll receive that invite, and then you and I will meet to discuss any questions that you have. So I put that into the chat, so hopefully you've been able to receive that, and you can go directly there if you're interested to set that up now. And then now we go to our last slide.
and I just wanted to, before we wrap up, Hannah, I just wanted to say that I know we spend a lot of time talking about the certificate, and our program is just not the certificate. The Workplace Health and Safety Manager is a large part of it, of the program, but we have a host of other courses that are not academic and are just all about professional development, straight professional development, to help shore up your skills. And we are really excited about spring. We have some construction safety courses coming up. We have some more fire related courses coming up. And so we're always growing the program. So if there's not anything there that quite whets your appetite today, don't forget to keep checking back. And we also welcome, you guys are the ones working out in the field. So we welcome any course suggestions or things that are topical, emerging topics that are happening out there in whatever field that you're specialized in or whatever is happening in your workplace. We're always happy to hear that. That only makes our program stronger.
Yeah, because while Monica and I are working on the program, we are not in the field like you all are. And so, we want to make sure that we're serving you and your educational needs. So if there is something, please let us know. And yeah, whether you set up a scheduled meeting with me or send us an email, we are always happy to hear from you. So, we went right to the end of the hour there. So, thank you so much for attending. Hopefully that you've heard and gotten some good information. I'm happy to see that people are ready to enroll. So you can do that at our website. If you have any questions, as I said, you can always reach out to us to ask, and I can help you out with any questions you have or any assistance you need with the program or any courses. Thank you, Brett, for speaking with us and giving us such great information.
Great to see everybody. I hope that I might be able to meet up with some of you at the beginning of the next year. That'd be super.
Yeah, Brett's class is starting in January 2020, and you can find it online. It's
2021, possibly.
Yep. Oh, yes. January 2021.
We want to be done with 2020.
Let's not repeat 2020. We're done with 2020. But yeah, you can find it on our website, and I'll set a direct link to Brett's class page in the follow-up email. So if you're interested, you can go right there. All right, thank you, everybody, and we look forward to seeing you in 2021. Bye.
Oh, we have one more question.
Oh, did they come up?
Yeah. So I think this is a question that we might have to follow up in an email, Hannah.
Okay.
Okay, so we will look into that and follow up with you in an email.
Okay. Yes. Thank you. I see that now. Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Short answer is yes.
Yeah. Thanks, Brett.
Yeah, we've had people in that business, and there's no question that EHS is a big, gigantic part of refining, especially if you work in this state.
Hannah almost had her own health and safety situation. I saw that.
Laptop guy. I hit
Hannah.
Okay, you guys.
Paperwork.
Yes. Have a good day, you guys.
Bye,
Bye-bye now.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.